Hi, this is Peter Schulz, developer of WordPress plugin WP Data Access. In this video tutorial, I will show you how you can fine-tune a data project. A data project contains one or more data project pages. A page could be, for example, a course administration page or module administration page. If you use the data projects tool within the dashboard, the data projects tool can generate a menu for you. You can also display data project pages on your website. Keep in mind that if you want to show your pages on your website, then you have to use a shortcode for every page. Now, a page has some items, and one of the most important, I guess, is the base table item. So let's say if you create a student administration page, then the student table is the base table. You can also define some access rights. You can use rules to give specific user groups access to a page, and use privileges to define what they are allowed to do and not on a page. You can also define some settings to influence the layout, like parent-child or table forms, like title and subtitle. And then you have the manage table options, where you can define column settings, relationships and lookups. Table options are in fact some kind of templates for tables. You can use these options to define which columns are shown in list tables, for example, and how they are shown. And you can do the same for data entry forms. Besides that, you can define relationships if you want to create parent-child forms, or lookups to automatically generate list boxes. Before we dive into the table options, let's make sure we understand the page generation process. Our starting point is a database table. Let's say this would be the student table. To create a data projects page, you have to create a project first, of course, and then within that project a page for the student data administration or student profile, for example. Now, to define how this table will be used, how these table columns will be displayed, you can define for that table some specific table options. And then when the user presses the menu link within the project or activates the page on your website, the page settings for this table and the table options for this table are combined and used to generate an output page. Now let's see how this works in real time. I'm going to show you how you can change column labels, change the column order, hide columns, use lookups and use tabs in list tables and data entry forms. For this demo, I created two tables, two tutorial tables, a department table and an employee table. An employee belongs to a department, so that allows us to create a lookup from employee to department and a parent-child from department to emp. Now let's see how we can use this in a data project. I'm going to create a new data project, and I will call it HRM, Human Resource Management, and I will call it in the menu, I will give it the name HRMS, Human Resource Management System. I'm going to save it, and then it will be in the list. So from here I can now edit the project and then add pages. Now I'll first add the department table. So for now I'm gonna leave it to type table. That means it's not a parent-child. I will just show the parent, so just the department table. Then I'm gonna find, I have to look for the tutorial department table. I will allow users to edit, I will allow insert, I will allow to delete, and I will allow only administrators to have access to this page. Save the page, add a second page, which I will call employee. Leave this to table as well, so it's not a parent-child table. And I will leave this to mode to editing, allow insert and delete as well, and allow access to administrators only. So if I go back to my page now, then I am to my pages, my project pages, you will see that there is a page departments, there's a page employees, there's a menu HRMS, and it is added to the menu. So you might already have seen that it was added here in the dashboard. Now the department table is shown first, and after that the employee table. So it's following the page ID for items that are added to the menu. If you want to change that order, you can use the sequence number on the right side. So let's have a look at our data app. We have a departments, overview, and data entry form. We have an employees overview and a data entry form. And now there are probably a couple of things you would like to change. Let's have a look at this list table. Well, emp no ename mgr. Well, it's probably not what you would like to use as a label. So wouldn't it be nice to change the label, the labels of these items, and probably maybe change the order if you like to, or hide some items which you don't want to have in your list table or your data entry form. We're going to check out all these options. To do this, you need to know first which tables you are using in your data project pages. Well, I've just created these, so you've seen that these two tables are the tables that I've been using, tutorial dept and tutorial emp. Now if I want to change column settings, I have to add these tables to the manage table options. So that's what I'm going to do. You just click add table to repository, select your table, which is first tutorial depth. I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to do the same for the emp table. Now these tables might be on different pages, especially in my situation, so I'm going to use the search function to find them, and this is where they are. I'm going to start with the emp table. I'm going to edit that. Right here you can see this is for, this area is for the list table, and this is where you see the label name that is actually used. Let's just change this to, for example, employee #employee number. And what I'm going to do, I will open a next tab, an additional tab to show the employees form, so I can switch easily. And as you can see, the employee ID, the employee number, is now changed according to what I've changed over here. However, if I would edit an item in this table, then this would still be empno. And that is because these labels and these column settings are all separately defined for list tables and data entry forms. So if you want the data entry form to use the same label, you have to change it over here. This is so that you can make a difference between list tables and data entry forms. So let's check out again. And now we have the same label in the data entry form as in our list table. Now another thing that's interesting that might be interesting for you is that, let's say I'm not interested in the hire date in this list. So if I want to hide that in the list, I just uncheck the box. So uncheck to hide, save it, then refresh, and you'll see that, oh, I got the wrong one, I guess. Yeah, I clicked the manager, so I've hidden the manager and the hire date now. I've hidden them both. So this is how you can change column labels and how you can hide columns. Now suppose that I would like to have the commission before the salary, then you can just use this icon over here and then move the salary to another position, save the list, and if you check out, then you will see now we have salary commission, and now it's the other way around. So this is how you can change the position in a list table. You can do the same for your data entry form. Now another thing that I would like to change in this form is if I enter the depth node, well, the depth node is in fact, I'm gonna open a third tab for the departments. This is the department number that must be entered in this column. So there's a relation between the depth node of the employee and the depth node of the department. So in fact, this is a parent-child or master detail, whatever you prefer, relationship. Now we can use these relationships to create a list box. So wouldn't it be nice to have a list box over here that would show me the departments that are available? Otherwise, a user would be able to enter a department number that doesn't exist, whatever the consequences are. So I'm gonna set this back. Now let's go to the manage table options again. I'm in the tutorial AMP table. So what I will do now is I will create a lookup, and the target table of that lookup is my department table, and the source column is department number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the department number of the employee is compared with the department number in the department table. Now if I save this relationship, then first nothing, first nothing will change. We will still see a department number. So you have to take another step to make this change. If you scroll down to the data entry form, you see now that the department number now has a lookup over here. So you have to select a column. As long as you're selecting the same column that appears in the source table, nothing changes. But if you select another column, which I do now, and save, and I would go back to my data entry form, I now have a list available with all the departments. Now the label of this column should no longer be depth number, department numbers. It should be something like department or department name. So let's change that. And let's change all the other column labels as well. Now that looks much better. Now you could do the same for the manager, as the manager is in fact an employee ID. This is a manager ID, and so you could create the same kind of list box, The source name of the list box, however, would be the same as the base table for this page. But that should work as well without any problems. Let's go back to the list. In the list we still have the department number, but you probably like to see the department number, the department name here as well, and you can easily do that since you can use that lookup value in the list box as well. And let's then change the labels here as well. And we wanted to see the manager originally. Change the name. I'm gonna refresh the page, and there you are. Here's the department name. So in fact you're using the department number as a lookup to get the department name. There's one restriction. If you use a lookup in the list table, you can no longer sort this column. So as you can see, the column names here, the column headers are blue, which means that you can sort on this column item, but you cannot on a lookup value. So far we have been working on the employee page, but there's still some work to do on the department page as well. Well, here's the list table, and if you look at the labels and click on the edit link, then you see that these labels are not the same. Now there's a reason for that, and it's important to understand that. From the Data Explorer you can define labels for your tables, and that is what I did, what I've already did before I started with this video tutorial. I changed only the list table columns, and these list table columns, these changes are reflected in this page. They are even used as default values within the manage table options. So if I click on the tutorial depth table, I'm going to edit it, then you'll see that the list table has these already uses these labels as default values. Now let's change the labels of the data entry forms as well. So that was it. So now they should be the same. Okay. Now the next thing that I like to do is to create a parent-child page where the department is the parent table and the employee table is the child table. Now we can do that from the manage table options as well. So the target table is the the emp table. So this is the employee table. So we have the department table, which has an N-to-M relation, one-to-many relationship to the employee table. So both sides I'll select the department number, and now I should have a parent-child form. That's at least what I suspect. So now I would have these beautiful tabs here below, but they're not there because the table type for my project is still, the page type for my project is still set to table. Let's look at the page settings. Right here you can see that the page type is table, and I have to change this from table to parent-child. I will also add a title and change it. Now I'll go back, and as you can see, the title is changed, so something has changed. And let's have a look at the data entry form, and now you can see that we have a parent-child form. Now there's still this tab. This is probably not what you want. This is the table name of the child table, so let's fix that as well. To do that, we're gonna have a look at the table options, in this case, however, of the emp table, because the tab label must be set for the employee table. So let's set that tab and then click on it. And as you can see, the tab has been changed now as well. So that was it. I hope this helps you to give you a better understanding of how to use data project pages and how to fine-tune them.